Hey, welcome back, everyone. This is Charlie Pankey, Sierra Rec Now podcast. Thank you for coming in and joining us this year. Today, we hope wherever you're at this year is within your sights or in your future soon. It is a great May day here, and we are already so excited about summer in the Sierra. I was up in Ebbets Pass this weekend. I was in Lake Tahoe this weekend. I went waterfall chasing. I had one of my typical adventure weekends. But, for me, as you enter the May season into early June, we start to talk about our communities and our festivals. The Sierra is filled with all kinds of festivals. The days we're recording it, we're getting ready for the Hot Air for Hope right here in the Carson Valley, my hometown. We got festivals starting up all over our communities. And today, if you like music festivals, if you like just hitting the mountains and a good groove, man, today is a show for you because our guest, Dave Margulies, is here to tell you all about the 2025 High Sierra Music Festival in Quincy, California. Dave, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
I just realized I'm reading your name. It says David. I hope David, which way you want me going on that?
I'm Dave, unless I'm in trouble, and it's David.
Very good. Perfect. Well, Dave, thanks for being a guest today. I have to be honest with you. I've never been to the festival. So I'm going to be a newbie on you today and ask you all kinds of newbie questions, okay? So
sure thing.
I understand it's 33 years old, but 25 years in Quincy. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah, we started in 1991 and took a couple of years off for the pandemic and then came back 3 years ago. And so this is actually our 33rd year and our 25th one that we will be staging in Quincy at the Paloma Sierra Fairgrounds.
That's fantastic. We talk a lot on this show about the Sierra story and how each of us has a part of that story. It's kind of our legacy, if you will. We're all leaving our story of the Sierra going forward. 33 years is quite a legacy for this festival. For those who don't know about the festival, kind of like me, a newbie, can you maybe tell us about the soul of it? Tell us what the feel of this festival is like and
Sure.
Kind of
Sure. Yeah. We were, I was not one of the founders, but I joined in year 5, but I was a patron in the first few years of the festival and would go. I was working in the music business, working at CBS Records, which became Sony Music, when they were bought by the Japanese, in the 90s. And I would go to High Sierra as a fan because they had one of my favorite bands from New Orleans playing there called the Radiators.
Okay.
And I would go up and they would have, in the first years, there were artists like John Prine and J.J. Cale and David Bromberg and Ani DeFranco when she was first starting out and the Radiators. And it was just this fun little multi-day festival where you would camp out and get to go and hang out with some music-loving folks. And I would say that the foundation of the High Sierra Music Festival really came out of the Grateful Dead community and that sort of live music, sort of jam band, hippie Americana world, if you will. The phrase Americana wasn't even bandied about then, but that's, when you have artists like J.J. Cale and John Prine, that's certainly very much Americana.
Yeah, so, absolutely.
That's kind of the foundation of it. If I look at it and say, well, if I had like the pillars of, who's at the foundation of High Sierra would be, Bonnie Raitt and the Grateful Dead and John Prine. And, there's bluegrass, there's folk, there's singer-songwriters, there's New Orleans music, there's funk, there's international music, there's indie rock, there's rock and roll. Mm-hmm. And it's a very, very eclectic music festival. And it really is for deep, deep music lovers because the deeper you look into the lineup, the more you'll discover. And so it really, we mix in a lot of known artists with a lot of up and coming artists. And a lot of artists have sort of experienced what we call the High Sierra bump. And once they get it, once they make an appearance at High Sierra, they go on to great things.
Well, let's take the listeners there, and we won't make them wait too long. Then let's spill the beans on the 2025 lineup. What are guests going to expect this year in the lineup? Any new surprises or old favorites coming back that you think people are excited about?
Old favorites for sure. I mean, we can start with Grammy Award winning Molly Tuttle, who is a Northern California girl who currently lives in Nashville, but she's played High Sierra before, and her star is ascending. She'll be coming back to High Sierra. There's a guitarist by the name of Daniel Donato who also lives in Nashville, who is on the rise right now, and his band is called Cosmic Country. So he kind of blends the sort of the Flying Burrito Brothers world with that world of sort of the psychedelic cowboy roots, and maybe a little bit of Grateful Dead roots and jam band roots. And he's also another one whose star is rising. He'll be at the festival. We're having, in the Americana world, there was a guy by the name of Levon Helm, who was the drummer in the band. And he had a thing that he did in a barn in his home in Woodstock, New York, that he called the Midnight Ramble. And he would have all kinds of players come, and they would do the Midnight Ramble in the barn. And you just kind of never knew who was going to show up to the ramble. They had a core band, and there was other people involved in that. Levon passed away years ago, but his daughter, Amy Helm, has continued the legacy of her dad and has been doing shows at their barn in Woodstock, continuing on with the Midnight Ramble. High Sierra is actually the first festival that she's taking the Midnight Ramble band out of the Woodstock barn and bringing it to a festival setting, and she'll be one of our features on Saturday night of the festival on our grandstand stage.
That's a heck of a story.
Yeah, it's a great
cool
story, and there'll be a lot of so High Sierra is about collaborations. And it's been known for a place, because we're a 4-day festival, musicians can come and land for 4 days. And it's been a base for many a great musical relationship between artists, because usually they're crisscrossing across the United States, and they don't get to spend much time together. But when they're at the festival for several days, there's been some amazing sit-ins and collaborations and guest slots there, and that's just become sort of an understood aesthetic about the festival, that's what happens at High Sierra, is these one-of-a-kind sit-ins that make for memorable moments.
That sounds extremely unique, and you're right. It does remind me of you kind of your image of the the 70s a little bit, maybe the early 80s, the rock festivals and stuff like that. So that's really cool. Grateful Dead makes a lot of sense there. I realized just while you're talking there, we haven't told anybody when this festival is. It's July 3rd through the 6th this year in Quincy, California. If you don't know where Quincy, California is, a listener, we're Northern California, Plumas County. I-70 or Route 70, Feather River Canyon right there. Gray Eagle, between Gray Eagle and Lake Almanor's Quincy. We were talking before the show, Dave. It's kind of a path through community. People drive through it a lot. You get Bucks Lake Wilderness there. You've got great mountain range along the river. The Feather River's right there. All the fishermen love that area, of course. What a great community to land in. I understand it wasn't its original home. You want to kind of go through maybe some history of original home and how we landed in Quincy?
Yeah, the original home was Strawberry, California. Started in 1991, and High Sierra was there for several years before moving to Bear Valley. Further, I think Bear Valley is about 7,000 feet.
I was there this weekend. There's still snow.
Well, there was still snow there in 1998 when me and my partner went up there Memorial Day 5 weeks before our event, and we found 10 feet of snow in what was to be our music meadow. So we knew we couldn't stage the event then. So we got busy and looked through the yellow pages, because this was pre-internet, and we found a welcome suitor for us in the Plumas Sierra Fairgrounds, who said, "Come on in. We'll be your shelter from the storm." So they took us in, and it was a heavy lift to try and inform everybody that the festival was moving, and there was a lot of great confusion, but we pulled it off, and it was an amazing event. That was 1998. The next year we went back to Bear Valley for one final year before moving to our permanent home in Quincy, where we've been since 2000. So with taking 2 years off for the pandemic, this is actually our 25th year. in 2025. So we'd like to say it's 25 in 25.
I like it. Okay, very good. Quincy is, I think of Quincy, I think of Bucks Lake Wilderness, obviously, and going camping and riding mountain bikes. When I was looking at the festival, let's talk about what that is like, because it sounds like there's camp spots, there's new glamping things this year.
Right.
Kind of explain the environment. You just rolling with your RV, parking on the grass, and then you camp out for the weekend. Is that kind of the idea?
Yeah. So we have RV spots. I think there's probably 100 RV spots on site, and we also have dry RV camping as well. There's Pioneer Park, which sells RV spots, which is right adjacent to the fairgrounds there. But basically, we go in and we transform this county fairgrounds into a community music festival for 4 days, and we have an ambiance crew that decorates it in very lively theme ways. And we have food vendors, and we have craft vendors, and we have a family village, and we have daily parades. And so it's an incredibly colorful event, but it's basically a camping situation with, it's kind of first come, first serve, and everyone gets cozy and everyone's happy to share space and there's room for everyone. But this year we decided to add a little bit of a higher end glamping element to it. So my festival manager, who's worked with some glamping situations before, suggested this, and it seemed like a really, really good idea. So we're bringing in climate controlled big dome tents that people with beds and so it's kind of a rock star way to go if you want to go high end. I mean, we have a high end experiential ticket that we sell for the festival, but it usually is, well, maybe it's an RV and maybe it's camping, but it's the experience where you get access to the stage and you get food and drink and hospitality and so on. But it didn't include lodging, and we wanted to offer someone on-site lodging that's literally a stone's throw away from the stage, where people could just, at the end of the evening, go to their quarters and have some nice climate-controlled bed to go sleep in.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah,
glamping is kind of a new thing, so that is that's a neat new twist to it.
We still have a few glamping tents left, as a matter of fact.
There you go, some breaking news for you. So
and a few RV spots.
That's good. And this is a family event, right? So people are bringing the entire family out and just great.
We've had people who we've had now 3 generations of High Sierrans. I mean,
that's cool.
Yeah, we have people in their, in their 70s, people in their 60s, 50s, 20s, teens, and kids, and newborns. So we also have one of the unique festivals that offer professional childcare. So let's say mom and dad want to have date night, they can bring their child into what we have a group of professional childcare providers called the Rockin' Nannies. And they
love it.
And so they'll have movie night and games, and you come and you basically drop your kid off. It's an indoor building that's manned by the Rockin' Nannies, and they take care of your child until, let's say you want to go out and from 9 o'clock until midnight. So you book them for 3 hours, and you drop your kiddo off, and there'll be 20 other kids in there with them, and it's just a big giant nursery babysitting, like preschool kind of thing, and it's fantastic. It is and then we have our family village, which we have all kinds of kids activities during the day and performers that are doing sets specifically for the kids, a lot of different arts and crafts and so on, and then they get to participate in one of our daily parades that we do, so the kids love that as well. So cool. It's a music and arts and community festival.
That's fantastic.
Every sense of the word. And there's great food. Our food vendors are fantastic and cool crafts. And then you can always take a little day trip to the river and go swimming in the Feather River, which is always a wonderful thing to do. Yep.
Bring a fishing pole. Great fishing in Feather River.
Yeah. Outstanding. Yeah.
So let's take another step back to the first timers. Then again, let's say we're getting this out to some people and they're going to come to the festival the first time. Give us a feel for first time High Sierra experience, what they should expect, maybe some tips on how to make your first visit just memorable from your perspective of so many years doing it.
They should anticipate stepping into an atmosphere that is one of the most welcoming that you'll ever step into. People love first timers because a lot of High Sierras pride themselves on being there for 25 years. Oh, this is my 28th High Sierra or my
Right.
16th High Sierra. And they love newbies because they just make them feel at home and kind of can show them the ropes. We have 4 outdoor stages.
Okay.
So, well, we have 3 outdoor stages and we have 3 indoor stages as well.
Okay.
And one of the indoor stages is just a nighttime singer-songwriter in the round thing. But we have our grandstand stage, our vaudeville stage, and our big meadow stage. And they run basically from noon until grandstand stage goes until midnight. And then our
Okay.
vaudeville tent goes until 2 in the morning.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then we have late night shows on site as well that go even later.
That's
So the
unique.
music, that we have, that's just been part of the High Sierra culture. So it's a very relaxed atmosphere. It's one of the more user friendly festivals I've ever been to because there's plenty of room. There's also a community pool that is owned by Park and Rec in Plumas County, and people have access to that. You can buy a day pass to the pool and go swim. So a lot of moms and dads and kids go for the pool in the hotter part of the afternoon and then get ready for their evening into the grandstand with music or stroll to the other stages, take in some of the food, and it's just a super relaxed atmosphere.
That's fun.
We're a smaller boutique festival. We're not one of these big mega festivals. And it's just, the caliber of the music is outstanding, but you get all of that not at the cost of like one of these massive mega festivals.
But yeah, you have a lot of artists. I didn't count the full count on the list, but
55.
I was gonna say it was well over 30 when I stopped counting. So it's like there's a lot of artists there.
Most of them play twice.
Okay, and then you like the things like the rounds and stuff. Artists. If I know any artists, they just love to jam with each other. I can just imagine these guys. Yeah, I'm gonna hop in here and jam with this guy.
So that's a good point you bring up because there's so many campsite jams that happen, and so many little like organic pop-up stages that happen at the festival, and camps like have developed themes over the years, and they come back every year and they know exactly where the camp happiness is going to be or camp bitchin' kitchen is going to be, and there'll be a crab cake party at one of the camps, or there'll be a little music jam by one of the camps. Or
great.
Yeah, so it's very creative.
This is very creative.
It's all happened organically over the years. It's not something that was planned out or thought out. It's just people bringing the best of themselves to the situation year in and year out and going, oh, how can I make this even better than what we did last year?
That's
and it
so much fun.
has grown. And that's really the magic of the festival.
The people really are the magic of it. Okay, got it.
Absolutely. 100%.
Absolutely. Well, I see this year you're going to be doing some themes. It looks like for the parade. Is it for the parade only, or is it day themes?
No, those are day themes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to walk through the themes in case they're coming? They know what the themes are. Or?
I'm gonna have to pull them up because I know the first one. I think Thursday is intergalactic. The theme is intergalactic, and then the Friday theme is Born to Be Wild. The Saturday theme is Under the Sea, and the Sunday theme is Shimmer and Shine. So those themes will be certainly embraced and incorporated into the daily parades, but those are the themes in general because people love to dress up at High Sierra.
I was gonna say, and when I saw the themes, that it made me think of all the stuff that happens at Black Rock during their thing out in the desert there, and I was going, well, it sounds like the family event is probably a little better than that, but people do like to kind of relax when they come to the mountains and be themselves, and these themes kind of seem to fit in with that.
And there's definitely a teeny overlap of the Burning Man community that comes to High Sierra. So at nighttime with some light up, some light up stuff. It's an incredibly small footprint from a proportionate perspective, right?
All those people are normal people. They take that culture when they go there. So when they leave that area, they're all the same people. So
that's right. And people.
I have relatives who've gone. They're all normal people.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And they let their freak flag fly
just for 1 week. Yeah, exactly.
But it's super fun. So it's just a wonderful opportunity to sink into a community that really appreciates the music and the out.
Well, let's talk about the community for me, because the thing that struck me in your last part was there is how late you're going. I mean, many towns that I go to in the Sierra, they have these like 10 p.m. curfews for noise, and it's Quincy is a very unique and eclectic is a good word for them as well too. They've got a lot of history from the logging community, the Indian history in the town. They've got the wilderness in the area. Tell me about the community from your standpoint, what they've been like to work with,
Oh
and
my
you want to give
God.
some shout outs to the people there that the
Absolutely.
festival
Yes.
lovers love.
Oh yeah. Oh God, yeah. Well, the Feather River Co-op, which was Quincy Natural Foods, is kind of our home base, and the local store where everyone goes prior
Hmm.
to the festival to load up on provisions to bring in. People do, they like to fill their coolers with. They like to fill their coolers coming into the festival, and the Feather River Co-op has been our partner ever since we have
Okay.
been in Quincy, and that goes, as I said, that goes back to 1998. Just the community itself has been incredibly supportive and
Hmm.
welcoming and easy to work with. There was years ago, there was maybe we had a couple of hiccups with one of the local sheriffs who maybe didn't appreciate who we were as a community. But basically, it was interesting because the community responded and told the sheriff, like, look, we have a world-class music festival in our backyard here. And if you
Hmm.
run these people out of town, we're going to recall you.
Yeah.
And
The voice heard.
they put that out there to him, and things changed. And he eventually left. The sheriffs that we've worked with since have been just great. I mean, everybody's been all the motels that work in there, the Lariat and the Ranchito and the Spanish Creek, and everybody is just so supportive of what we
Great.
do. And it's, we mean a lot to the community too. I mean,
Hmm.
the business is there. It's a busy time for them, and it's their most impactful weekend of the year. So we
Yeah,
always
I got to
encourage.
shout out Plumas County myself. They're one of my biggest sponsors this year. Like they love what I do too. Having you on as a guest of the show and talk about this fits right in their plans as well. I mean, they're wonderful people up there to work with. They just want people to be able to enjoy the mountains, enjoy their culture, and come and play and as often as they want. So that's
Yeah.
really good to hear.
Yeah, so we have a great relationship with the fairgrounds and the fairgrounds management and local board of supervisors. I mean, pretty much everybody in Quincy, the local residents. A big part of our team, our staff, is Quincy residents, and
Okay.
all of our greeters crew are made up of local Quincy residents. So when you show up to the festival, your first point of contact when you've driven how many hours you've driven
Hmm.
to get to Quincy and High Sierra, you're greeted by a local who's checking your credential, giving you your wristband, and they're wonderful to be able to tell people, like, hey, if I want to go jump in the river, you have a good suggestion of where to
There you
go,
go.
or tell me a good hiking trail to go, or I want to go for a bike ride, whatever it is. I mean,
Yeah.
these are they're ambassadors not only of the festival, but they're ambassadors of Plumas County and Quincy.
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
and they're a really important part of our team.
Very
So
good. Very good.
yeah.
I always love stopping at the candy shop there downtown. I'm going to forget the name of it because I just know where it's at.
Yeah, yeah. Hmm.
Either that or there's a Thunder Cafe for breakfast.
Morning
Great.
Thunder.
Yeah, there you go.
Morning
The morning,
Thunder.
there's a
Yep.
great place for breakfast as I run through town,
Yep.
usually on my way to Lake Almanor. So that's fantastic. Well, what brings you back, Dave? It sounds like you've been part of this for a while. I mean, what keeps your blood going for this festival? It sounds like it's a hoot, but I mean, give us a little personal story. What's this festival mean to you, and why you've been involved for so long?
It's my love of the community and the passion that the community has for this event. And we fell on hard times since the pandemic, and it hasn't
Hmm.
been easy for us. And it's still touch and go.
Okay.
There's no guarantees for the future. So we need everybody to come out and support the event and to keep this thing going. Last year there was talk that it would be our last year.
Oh wow.
And
Okay.
my partner and founder, Roy Carter, passed away last April, right
Oh
before High
wow.
Sierra. And so me and my other partner were at a crossroads about what to do and if we were going to continue and how we were going to continue. And she decided to step away. And I just was left in the driver's seat saying, I'm not ready to let this festival go away. It's too
Wow.
beloved by so many people. And so here we are, and we're back for our 33rd year, and hopefully we'll be able to make it through and come back for year 34.
I hope so. You're part of the Sierra story now. I mean, that's amazing that I didn't realize you had that rocky road and
Oh
separation.
yeah,
Now you are
yeah.
just charging forward. So I love that spirit, David. Kudos to you. Applause.
Thank
What's
you,
the guy on TV
thank you. Yeah, yeah.
on that? That's really fantastic. You would not believe we're already at our show's limits here. We try to keep this to 30 minutes for not only you but our guests out there, and we do appreciate them coming along. We got a couple
Well,
things to take care of real quick. I want to give you one last shout out for the festival to give your last big push and promo for
yeah.
people to come out for the summer.
Yeah, I'll just direct people to our website, highsierramusic.com, for all your festival information and for tickets.
That's awesome. And guys, it really does. The band lineup, go take a look at them. They've got links on there to the bands too. Looks like a great opportunity to join it. Like I said, there's some glamping experiences and tent experiences and RV experiences still available. All right, David, I got to do a real quick shout out to my sponsors here real quick, and then I got 3 questions for you. You ready? Okay, so let me give a shout out to my sponsor real quick, guys. You guys know I can't do anything without my sponsors here. Plumas County is a sponsor of mine. They're a very big part of who I am, but our biggest sponsor for the podcast here is the Carson Valley, my home base for all of our adventures that we leave from here. I would say you guys are Quincy's about 2 hours for me, maybe an hour and a half for me. I go through there all the time. It's a great little community. But Carson Valley, I couldn't do this without their support. So take a look at their wide open spaces here. So, oops, I hit the wrong button here. Well, maybe it's not going to play today. All right, Carson Valley. Oh, here goes. I just got to hit live. Quincy could say need some space too. They have lots of space in the area. But thank you, Carson Valley, for all you do. It's a great place for base camp for summer. We have festivals all over here too. But Dave, I got 3 questions for you. I'm gonna get a little personal, okay?
Okay.
And we make it. You can go music on these if you want to. I just I have to ask myself how to do that. So my first question was: assume your bag is packed behind you there. Okay, and you're going to go anywhere in the Sierra you want for the weekend. Take off on a little vacation for yourself. Where are you heading and why?
Boy, I'm probably going. Well, I'm probably going to visit my friends in Gardnerville and stay at their little ranch there. And
Good choice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know Gardnerville?
Minden, Gardnerville is Carson Valley. That's where I live at, man.
Yep.
So
okay, yeah. So I'm probably basing myself in the Carson Valley, and then if it's wintertime, I'm hitting Heavenly, and I'm taking some turns, and
I like it.
If it's summertime, I'm going to South Lake and spending some time on the beach.
I love it. You got a favorite beach in South Lake?
So my friend used to rent a place.
Private beach.
Yeah, it was a private beach.
There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
So
it was beautiful.
All right. Here's my next question. So you can come to Carson Valley if you like to, but day out at the beach, Tahoe, day out doing whatever your music festival. What is the go-to food item? I love like cheeseburgers and milkshakes after hiking. What's like the go-to food item for the day after a day of adventure?
Oh man. Yeah. Wow. I'm gonna have to say sushi.
Sushi, all right.
Yeah,
I like that.
yeah,
Good choice.
Yeah. There's a couple of good roll. There's a couple of good sushi joints in South Lake that
yes, there are.
That are great to go to after.
Good choice. Good choice.
Yeah.
Very good choice. All right, my final one, and let's try to make this festival maybe a little bit oriented for your festival, right? But we're all gearheads in some type of way or another. What's the one piece of gear you never leave home without, especially if you're going to your festival?
My Sunday afternoon sun hat.
I like it.
Oh,
big brim, like the big hiker brim. Yeah, there you go. I like it.
Yeah, no, it's a floppy but big brim, and it's an SPF 50, and it's actually a company that's based here in my hometown of Ashland, Oregon, where I live. But Sunday afternoon hats are everywhere. They're in every.
I switched to them hiking last year myself. I know exactly what you're talking about. Very comfortable.
Yeah, that's essential gear for me.
Absolutely, David. Hey, I want to thank you so much for being our guest and letting us help tell your part of the Sierra story here. We wish you best of luck with the High Sierra Music Festival. Again, if you're listening to the show, just last minute, July 3rd through the 6th. Tickets are on sale now. You want to get your spot reserved. It's family friendly, great opportunity to be in Northern California in the mountains for 4th of July weekend, basically. I'm not sure how the fireworks are in Quincy, but I'm sure they have fireworks shows there. No fireworks shows in Quincy. Okay, the music is the fireworks show. Okay, good.
If you want fireworks, go to Lake Tahoe.
All right. Well, very good. But Dave, thanks for being our guest here. And wherever you're at, if you have listened today, Share this with your friends. Tell everybody about it. We're trying to hit all those markers, but we just want to say thank you for joining us. We hope the Sierra is in your future soon. Drive safe wherever you're at and be blessed.